and gentlemen, I'm getting into a lot of trouble today with my mouth.
You are.
It's not intentional though.
That's what happens when you have a whole bunch of women around.
Story time! It's been a long time, story
It
time.
has. It has been a long time. What is the story time about?
Story time.
Story time.
Do you know what the story time is
I
about?
have no idea. No idea.
The story time goes back to the first year that we were in business. We were operating, and this is Intelligent Concrete. We had another business called B&B Premier Concrete, which was...
These are lovely cards.
Thank you. We worked really hard on these.
Yeah. Very nice.
We started a company on concrete countertops, which was fun. Thank you very much. But then we decided to get into this R&D business, technology transfer, education, and I tell you, high five, great decision.
It's been,
So my dad and I had an idea, or I had designed something for the Army Corps, which is a blast absorbing and a bullet catching concrete. And my dad asked the question,
oh, can it hold a, what, 22?
can you make a small business card that catches a .22 caliber round? And we've done a video on that, haven't we?
Right.
So this is not the video about that, although this is the one of the last...
Originals? Really?
Yeah, that's the one that Dad took over the mall, and he had the A laser, and you can actually see, this is for hailing.
It's got fibers in there too.
Yeah. This is like the original one. So, and it even has the cement paste in lettering.
Yeah, it does.
So if you look close, get some close-ups on this, it was a cement paste. So that's what this story is about. It's the evolution of our trademark business cards. And our business cards are concrete and...
Well, grout, rather.
Sure. You can use a concrete, wet civet.
Okay.
It'd still be a grout at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're grout, they're concrete, but they have our logo. We just made some yesterday.
Yeah,
They're glow in the dark. So we wanted to go through the evolution. Just talk about the evolution.
Oh, of the cards?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fun stories.
It is.
So we had our first job was working with the Department of Energy, Stephen Chu's group, on a project to reduce urban heat island effect.
Right.
So we were making a grout, we called it a cementitious paint, that was used as an overlay to asphalt to reduce that urban heat island effect, that thermal layer, and also to bring back the surface friction.
Right.
Remember the cards? Because that's what the first card. Okay, what were the cards like?
They were white. They were really kind of sticky and nasty because there was a lot of polymer in it.
We were trying to, we didn't want to throw out the mix.
Right.
We didn't want to create more waste in the landfill.
Well, and we just, I mean, honestly too, we were in a small area and did not have a lot of room to store waste.
Right, and then that was the time that Austin was taking his kids' cereal boxes, Austin Buck, and turning his kids' cereal boxes into business cards.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
Oh, you weren't with me. This is when I went out to Colorado to give a class on concrete countertops.
And Jimmy and Sarah?
Yeah, stay with Jimmy and Sarah. This is when they still had the place. So yeah, Austin was, and I was like, dude, I want to do this. I didn't have the type of printer he had. He actually is in the marketing business. So I was like, how do I steal the same concept? You know, good artists create, great artists steal. So what my dad and I did was we spent a weekend looking through candy molds.
Right,
candy molds. And we found these candy molds, plastic candy molds.
You guys went around to different craft
Hobby
stores
Lobby
in the area.
and Michael's and so we got the candy molds and we had that mix that we were doing, which looked almost exactly like this, and then it had pigment in it. And the pigment was Celadon green. Right. Sweet. So great cards. Great cards, real nice. So so we made up the cards. And then what we had to do is we had to have a stamp.
I forgot about the stamp. Yeah. Because we didn't have these molds initially.
So we had these stamps that were made up of staples.
Then
we had to get different stamps for the different colors. There was only one person who could do the stamp.
I'm a good stamper.
Well, your mom used to be.
My mom used to stamp when I was little, and so, So I had, so I was like, you have to do it this way, and we can emboss it. I knew all the tricks. Yeah, I know.
We even found a way
but yes, you could totally
to do two colors to make it three-dimensional if you had the glasses on. So was pretty cool.
It was very cool.
And I remember I brought them to, I had to do a convention, a show, and I
Right.
brought them to this convention and show, and I was talking, the folks that were with me talking at that presentation, I felt like I was Elvis, and I was with Buddy Holly.
Sure.
So I was talking with Lawrence Berkeley Labs, so it was a pretty awesome event. Those cards just,
Yeah.
They went quick.
Yeah, they were a hit.
And I got home and Dad's like, so where's your cards? And I brought like 15 pounds. Like each one of these weighs like, 100 grams.
Yeah.
So I brought a bunch of them with me. So I get home, Dad's like, where are the rest of your cards? I was like,
Yeah.
gave them all away. He's like, ooh, we gotta see what we could do with this. So that's when we brought in this blast absorbing, bullet catching.
Well, no, it was this was the next evolution, these molds.
Yeah, so that was part of the next
Right.
evolution. So it was, when we were getting these molds, we found websites where people were, they can take an image
Right.
and
Make custom
somehow,
molds.
it's like a CNC, whatever type of machine it is, but they can make these for us. We didn't have the money for that at the time because it was a $135 fee.
Right.
Well,
and then like
these-
$5 per mold or something.
Right, and now we
Right.
have it set up. We got it set up, a decade ago or 7 or 8 years
Right.
ago, whatever it was. So we can get a whole bunch of these for $4 or $5. But and we use these.
Right. Several times.
I think we've had these like 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, we haven't done an order in a long
Yeah,
time.
and even when we crack them, we can reuse them, and that's the whole point of this. That I understand that we have to get business cards with our names on it, with
Right.
our faces, and at the very least with these, we can start putting that information on here to a certain degree.
Right.
As you put more information, you can't get as
Right.
good of an indentation. But what we wanted to do is create a system where we didn't have to throw things away.
Right.
We like the idea of reusing, reclaiming, however you want to say it. So I'm sorry.
You're fine.
So we got these molds
Right.
from a guy in Arizona.
Right.
So what you'll see is that there's some indentations that make up our bore model, the name of our company, and our website.
Mm-hmm.
And what we used to do is we created a second paste.
Right.
So we had the mix, and that's where this blast absorbing
Right.
came in. We had the mix, then we had a second paste that we vibrated,
Right.
and it had to be a neat cement paste. So we
Oh,
took
I
a
know.
white cement and colored it our logo color,
And had to make it very fluid.
very fluid. Then we vibrated it in, let it set up, and then we sanded it off.
Right.
And that, for
It's
every,
just a lot of work.
for every 10 cards, we might have gotten 2. Right?
Right, that actually looked good and worked because the website would start
And then that one's
rubbing
flaking out
off
there.
and yep.
So then what we did is, instead of doing a paste, and Dad made this suggestion, we taped it off and we spray painted it.
Right.
Now that worked great.
I did work great.
Instead of losing 2 cards, or only getting 2 cards, we got like 6 cards out
Right.
of 10 cards. But it's still, every card cost us like $30.
Well, it was so much time.
So much
like
time.
it was very labor intensive.
And I would always, it was like the day before,
Oh yeah,
that I was always like,
we need cards.
we need cards, we need like 50 cards or 100 cards. I didn't want like 5. Dad always told me,
I know.
bring as many cards as people as you want to
Right.
see. And we were making different colored, black and orange
Right.
cards, breast cancer awareness
Right.
month cards.
Right.
Now we make these
We
glow
did
in the dark
Halloween
ones.
cards one year because you had a convention in October.
Right. Oh, just beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful ones. So we're still making them, but I started doing that more often. That I needed 50 to 100 cards,
Right.
and I would always do it like the night before.
Right.
Like, holy shit, I need to. And I would start sanding these things. I would pop them out of the mold like a half an
Right.
hour before I was taken off.
Right.
And Whitney would wraps them up. I say this past tense. Whitney wraps them up in paper
Right.
towels, puts them in a Ziploc, and then I take them on the plane.
Right.
So eventually, what happened is we were just like, you know what, this is ridiculous.
It's just too much. And then we just we would have leftover, so we try to keep when we're doing grouts and stuff, use the cards whenever we can. But it was like, why not just have that be the whole card?
Right.
We have it so you've got the the words embedded in a sense or
Right. Yeah.
lowered in.
Sure.
So like why fuss
Well,
and make
we
it
were the ones who
a
were
bigger
fussing
deal.
about.
I love you. You have to. He can't half-ass anything. Everything has to be like 110%, which is not a bad thing. And this is not even half-assed.
Right.
But you like everything to just be like over the
edge.
top, which is great. Like there's, you know, a time and a place for that, but sometimes it's like
Do you want to go get the
100%
the new
is
sample?
more than enough.
Please and thank you.
So
you're right, baby. You're absolutely right.
and I don't mean that as a bad thing, but sometimes you just need to.
Not at all. But sometimes you need to be okay with
I know, going over the top.
evolution of going over the top.
Right.
And she's right. Nobody knows where. Nobody really knew about that. So not, you know, going without that is fine. But it still was a really cool idea. So I thought of another idea. And instead of, you know, doing the business card, what we do is paint. What we do is we get a mold created for our friends in Oceanside, California, that has the bore model, just the bore model. And what we do is we dribble paint into it like I did, and after the paint dries, we sand it off and then seal it. Now the great thing about this, the great thing about this is glow in the dark, and this is not.
Right.
So what it does is it blocks out that glow, so you'll actually have that star.
Yeah, love that.
But it'll have the bore model.
Right.
So what do you think?
I like it.
Can we go for that?
We will have to discuss it. You'll have to check 3 sources.
This is why Glue Group
Right, the glue group.
always comes in.
Yeah, who funds the glue group?
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, resources.
The Glue Group. They don't ask for anything in return. They just
I just can't.
want everybody to be happy. Once in a while they ask for a favor. Once in a while.
Just cannot even handle it.
You're gorgeous. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ding that bell for notifications. Don't go great.
Beat asphalt.